Welcome to Bedtime Horror, your portal to scary stories. I'd been riding the single wave for a while, and the daily grind had me feeling like I was stuck on repeat. Some well-meaning friends suggested I dip my toes into the Tinder pool, promising it could be a thrilling way to meet new folks. With curiosity bubbling and the hope of finding a real spark, I decided, why not? After some swipes and chit-chats that led absolutely nowhere, I finally landed a match that piqued my interest. Her name was Sarah, and her profile painted a picture of adventure and spontaneity. Her photos revealed a bright smile and a love for exploring new horizons. We got to chatting, and man, it was like a river flowing smoothly. Travel stories, shared dreams, you name it, it was all on the table. So, we decided to take the plunge and meet up for dinner at this charming Italian joint smack in the city's heart. The day came, and I was buzzing with a mix of jitters and excitement as I made my way to the restaurant. Sarah had picked the place, and I was itching to see if our online connection had any real-world magic. The moment I walked in, there she was, sitting at a cozy corner table. In person, she was even more enchanting, radiating confidence that had me hooked. Her eyes twinkled with enthusiasm, and her laughter was downright contagious. Warm smiles and the feeling of familiarity, that's what we exchanged. Dinner? Oh, it was a dream. Italian dishes danced on our plates while we swapped tales of globetrotting, places we were itching to explore, and the hilarious hiccups we'd faced during our adventures. Time did a vanishing act, and suddenly, we were the last patrons in that restaurant. Not willing to call it a night just yet, Sarah pitched the idea of continuing our evening at my place. She had a bottle of wine stashed in her bag, and the thought of more chit-chat and chuckles was too tempting to resist. I nodded with a smile, and we snagged a ride to my humble abode. Once home, we settled into my cozy living room, wine glasses in hand. Conversations flowed effortlessly as we dished on our favorite travel destinations, traded tips, and reminisced about our wildest journeys. Sarah's passion for exploration was positively contagious, and I was absolutely captivated by her adventurous spirit. As the night grew older, we dug deeper into the conversational trenches, swapping personal stories and peering into each other's dreams. It was a connection that had been missing from my life for ages, and the sparks between us were popping like fireworks. With each passing moment, I felt more at ease and comfortable in Sarah's presence. But here's where the tale takes a wicked turn. As the night grew darker, a peculiar sense of drowsiness crept over me. I chalked it up to the wine and the late hour, excusing myself to visit the bathroom before we got back to our heart-to-heart. Little did I know that this bathroom break would mark the beginning of a chilling journey and lead to a spine-tingling revelation the next day. Upon my return from the bathroom, there was Sarah, wearing a sly grin and extending a freshly filled wine glass. Her demeanor remained unchanged, but there was something eerie lurking in her eyes, an unsettling glint that sent a shiver racing down my spine. I accepted the glass, my initial unease veiled by my eagerness to continue our captivating conversation. We clinked our glasses, delving into discussions about our shared interests. Yet, the drowsiness that had begun as a mere whisper in the background was now crashing like a relentless wave. My eyelids grew oppressively heavy, and the room blurred at the edges. Panicking, I gazed at Sarah, her enigmatic smile still intact. "What's in this wine?" I mumbled, my words muddled as the world spun around me. Her response was casually sinister. "Just something to help us relax." Fear surged through me as I realized I'd been drugged. My heart raced, but my body had already surrendered to the effects of this mysterious substance. My limbs turned leaden, and my mind descended into a disorienting haze. I struggled to stand, to escape, but my own body betrayed me, forcing me back into the chair. The world danced before my eyes, and I grappled to remain conscious. Sarah's face loomed over me, her once charming features now contorted with malevolence. She leaned in close, her voice dripping with ominous intent. "Sleep now, my dear. We have a long night ahead of us." With that chilling proclamation, darkness swallowed me whole, and I succumbed to a disconcerting slumber. The next morning, I awoke with a pounding headache and a disoriented sense of time and place. It took a moment for the events of the previous night to flood back: our dinner, the wine, and Sarah's ominous transformation. Panic surged through me as I grasped the horrifying truth. I stumbled into the living room, my heart racing, and encountered my apartment in utter chaos. Electronics, valuables, and cherished possessions had vanished. My home had been ravaged. The sickening realization hit me like a ton of bricks. Sarah had drugged me, and while I lay helpless, she had summoned her criminal cohorts to strip my place of everything of value. Shock and anger coursed through me as I surveyed the wreckage of my once comfortable abode. But the worst was yet to come. Glancing at my phone, I discovered a slew of missed calls from friends and family. They had received bizarre messages from me during the night, messages I had no memory of sending. Sarah had commandeered my phone to perpetuate a charade, assuring them that I was safe and simply spending the night elsewhere. The realization that I had been ensnared on multiple fronts, from the drugging to the theft and deceit, left me feeling violated and impotent. With a heavy heart, I reported the harrowing incident to the police, recounting the twisted saga of my Tinder horror story. As the investigation unfolded, it became apparent that Sarah was just one cog in a vast criminal machine that preyed upon unsuspecting victims for their own gain. My ordeal served as a grim reminder that not everything on Tinder is as it appears, and the pursuit of connection can sometimes veer into the darkest and most treacherous of territories. I'd been swiping through Tinder for a while, searching for that elusive connection. It was an unremarkable evening when I matched with James, a seemingly charming guy with a penchant for coffee and a knack for witty banter. We chatted for a few days, and our conversations had a comfortable flow to them. So, we decided to take the plunge and meet up for a casual coffee date. The cafe we chose was one of those cozy places that seemed custom-made for first dates. As I sat there, nervously sipping my latte, I watched the door, waiting for James to arrive. My heart skipped a beat when he walked in. His warm smile and easy demeanor put me at ease instantly. We exchanged greetings and dived right into conversation, as if we'd known each other for ages. Travel stories, quirky hobbies, and shared interests flowed effortlessly between us. It felt like the date was going even better than I had hoped, and time seemed to speed by. As the sun dipped below the horizon, we decided to extend our date with a leisurely stroll through a nearby park. The evening air was crisp, and the park's tree-lined paths provided the perfect backdrop for our continued conversation. We shared childhood memories, dreams, and aspirations, and I couldn't help but feel a genuine connection. As we walked, I realized I didn't want the evening to end. The chemistry was palpable, and I decided to take a leap of faith by inviting James back to my apartment. Part of me hesitated, but the other part, the one that craved more time with him, won out. The ride back was filled with animated conversation, and I felt a sense of comfort around James. However, as we entered my apartment and settled onto the couch, there was a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a change in his demeanor that sent a shiver down my spine. At first, it was a lingering touch on my arm, a kiss that went on a bit too long. I tried to brush it off, hoping it was just a momentary lapse in judgment, but my unease grew as James's advances became more insistent. He seemed to want a level of intimacy that I wasn't comfortable with, and it wasn't long before his actions turned downright aggressive. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized I was in a situation I couldn't control. The evening that had started with such promise now felt like a terrifying nightmare. James's once charming smile now appeared menacing, and I knew I had to get out of this unsettling situation. With trembling hands, I excused myself, claiming I needed a moment in the bathroom. Once inside, I pulled out my phone and dialed my friend Emily, desperately explaining the predicament I found myself in. Emily, who happened to be nearby, didn't hesitate for a moment and concocted a story on the spot. She told James that she had just gone through a painful breakup and needed a place to stay for the night. From the bathroom, I listened anxiously as Emily wove her tale. My heart was racing. He protested, his voice growing louder and more menacing by the second. I feared the situation might escalate into something even more dangerous. But Emily stood her ground, insisting that she needed her friend's support during this tough time. And finally, I found my voice and firmly told James that he had to leave. I explained that I needed to be there for Emily. James's face contorted with anger as he shouted, but eventually, he stormed out of the apartment, leaving Emily and me shaken but safe. As the door slammed shut, we both let out a collective sigh of relief. The Tinder date had taken a chilling turn, and we were left to grapple with the unsettling encounter that had unfolded in my own home.